Angela Ramirez, who is the one who created the bill, she happens to be a Democrat. And so people keep looking at it as a Democrat issue. And it's not. It's a like bipartisan. It shouldn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. Like everyone should want to protect kids, right?
Yeah.
You know? It seems like common sense. So all they teach them really is super simple. It's not sex ed, which is what a lot of them keep trying to say it is. All it is they tell them that anything underneath their swimsuit that nobody should touch. That's it.
Really?
And then they tell them about saying no if they feel uncomfortable and coming and talking to somebody that they trust. So it's like super empowering things that kids should all know. Mm-hmm. And every elementary school and student will have that option. Parents and teachers as well. The biggest opposition that we keep coming across is the difference between opt-in and opt-out. So what we're trying to do is go for the opt-out, where it's basically inferred that everyone will have it, unless somebody specifically has a problem. We didn't want to have to go for any of the opts.
Yeah.
But we realized that it was better to protect a good portion of kids than none, because it would not have gotten past the beginning stages. So that's the biggest thing, and it came up again today, and the vote was close. And if it gets amended, it won't pass this year. Because if it gets amended, it has to go back.
Oh, really?
To where we basically started. Besides the fact that those of us supporting the bill are not okay with an opt-in. Because my parents would not have opted in.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so that's our biggest thing. And then the other biggest thing is that they keep trying to peg it as sex ed. And it's not. It's like it's safety. It's like fire prevention. It's like crossing the street. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like how to protect your kids like in a world like this. A lot of times the kids that are abused are people with similar personalities to me. The ones who are super trusting, like, you know, a little more shy and like, you know, and those are the types that predators oftentimes pinpoint. So to look at who I was and certain characteristics that have become part of my personality, it's interesting to look back and see like where they're a direct result from things that I've lived through, and to be able to kind of realize that and now kind of start to uncover other parts of my personality that maybe were hidden or were never explored because of the advocacy I'm trying to do. Yeah. It's kind of cool. Like I'm seeing whole new sides of me. I'm kind of proud of the fact that my parents don't know this side of me, because like they knew that other side of me and they don't know me now, which is kind of a cool thought that I've come as far as I have without having communication with them to know that they don't know who I am. I'm kind of proud of it. Yeah. You think you know me? Yeah, because it was really hard at first to be out there having to answer questions about it and have to talk openly, and it was a challenge at first, and it would take me like a few days to bounce back emotionally from it. But I've realized over the course of doing this enough that I've gotten better at being able to like push it off to the side and be like, okay, I'm going to talk about this, and then I can bounce back into regular life and not have it like affect me emotionally and mentally as much as it does. So it's just a process of just being out there enough and feeling comfortable. Even though you're putting yourself through a lot to be there and to talk about it, like it actually does help. Because I mean, we weren't necessarily going to come forward, but we only ultimately, our hands were forced to come forward because my dad was going to manage other girls, like teenage girls. And we approached him about it, and he was like, you can't dictate the decisions I'm going to make for the rest of my life. And we were like, we can't police him forever and hope that he doesn't, you know, hurt other people's lives. And he was so arrogant about it, and was like, I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. And so we talked about it, and we're like, well, I guess we're forced. Now people talk about domestic abuse, and everybody kind of knows. It's like one of those things that it has become more of an issue in society where people feel they can talk about it. Sexual abuse is not quite there yet. Yeah. People don't talk about it. And yet with domestic abuse, you have the physical bruises and the scars and, you know, all those effects that you can see with your eye. But with sexual abuse, it's not that way. Like, we have scars that will forever be there. We have, like, traumatizing things in our heads that will always be there, and we have to always constantly work through it. But survivors are coming out now and talking about it. And it's the first time in history, I think, that that's happening. And I'm hoping that our kids, our grandkids, like, this will be an issue that is not in the shadows anymore, because the issue being in the shadows actually benefits the perpetrators. It keeps it hidden, and it keeps them being able to do the things that they're doing to harm people. So I kind of think this time period is an important time period that our daughters, our granddaughters will look back on and be proud that we were a part of. I really do feel that. And I think it will cause change.